Hey, what's up, guys? I'm David Demuzio.
And I'm Steve Cook.
Welcome to Hair Loss Hope. And today is my justification, but it could be helpful for you as well, on why getting lots of hair transplants is good for you. Steve doesn't know where I'm going with this yet, but I came up with this idea and I think it's important for this video, and it's not something I hear people talk about a lot. A lot of people aren't willing to admit actually how many hair transplants they've even had. Steve said that he's pretty much lost track. Have you lost track?
Yeah,
do you
stopped
know
counting.
Like, off the top of your head?
No, I don't.
Really? You've totally lost track. Wow, that many. Okay. One of my friends, Josh, I think that he's lost track as well. Yeah, it's like in the 10 plus hair transplants, but he has an amazing hairline and amazing results, right? Incredible results. It's over 10 hair transplants. And now I'm at 5. So, I mean, are we just crazy that we've had so many hair transplants? Or actually, is this kind of working out for us? Because if you look at Steve's hair, I mean, Steve started going bald in his early 20s. He's a bit of an older guy, the techniques weren't even that great back then. Me, I've had all these hair transplants, but if you look at Steve's hairline, it looks incredible. In my opinion, Steve's hairline looks awesome. I think he gets compliments on it all the time. I think my hairline looks awesome. Josh's does as well. And here's the benefit of having so many hair transplants that people don't talk about. You can actually revise and refine your hairline. And that's something very difficult to do. And the first hair transplant, I don't care like how great your surgeon is and how great your donor hair is and all this kind of stuff, you can improve the hairline by quite a lot. You can get a lot of, crazy amounts of improvement. Take 10 years off of your face, like that. But if you kind of slowly work your way down, if you're like, let's say, when I started with mine, I was probably like a half a finger, a little bit higher, actually, especially maybe in the temple points and everything. So like it wasn't as low as it is right now. And then I very slowly, over the course of multiple hair transplants with multiple surgeons, I refined things just a little bit. And every single surgeon who worked on me, they kind of went in and they were like, okay, I think this could be a little bit better, like an artist. And then the next one, okay, I think if we put just a couple of grafts here, it's just going to make everything just look just a little bit better, and we'll bring this down just a little bit. And so because I had these excellent surgeons working on me, they were able to, without even knowing it, sort of work together and continue doing with their own art, refining my hairline. And there never got to a point where it was like, okay, now like this is messed up. We need to take more grafts out. It was instead just working its way slowly down. So everything was getting better and better, thicker and thicker, denser and denser. And there's never been a point where we've had to go in the opposite direction. Like one of our viewers was recently asking like, hey, how do I take grafts out? Because I did this one major surgery and they went too low and now it's not that great and now I need to remove that. It's much, much better actually to have multiple surgeries, smaller surgeries, and just continue refining that. Like there's the Dr. I think it's Zaref, or the guy who does like the huge mega sessions in like Eastern Europe, right? He's got incredible results. There's some amazing results. They're mind-blowing actually when you look at them online. That's awesome, but at the same time, whether it's him or another person, whatever, if you go to someone and they kind of blow your load, so to speak, in that one hair transplant, and it's not exactly what you're wanting, there starts to become a lot less opportunity to refine when you've just gone really big out of the gate. And you've had one guy, and whatever he's decided, and whatever his taste in a hairline is now what you've got. That's what you're stuck with. You better hope that it turned out exactly like you want, because there's not a lot of going back to that well. Versus if you start with somebody, you don't do a crazy major surgery, you leave some grafts in the bank, and then you go back and you do another smaller surgery and you refine one after the other. I think there's some incredible benefits to that. I think it's not something people talk about a lot. What's your take on this, Steve?
I come from a generation where all my surgeries started out minimal. They were ridiculously small surgeries that didn't really do a whole lot for all the reasons you guys probably have studied and seen, and, started out with plugs, and there was things called scalp reductions and then mini and micrografts. So, you were into procedure number 5, 6, or 7, and compared to today's standard, maybe a 2,500 graft case, you could get 1 or 1.5. The model is different, right? But it really comes down to the same thing, because someone like myself and David and I have a lot in common, but this we have in common is it's all about the hairline. So what he just said is totally right. And, I know you guys have been watching us on this channel for 8 years, and just go back to where we were shooting outside in a front patio area in a cul-de-sac. And, I always kind of dealt with hair loss as I got older, for obviously trying to help people. But, it's embarrassing when, guys will say like, hey, like, Steve's hairline's a little high, or maybe like, David's hairline's awesome and Steve's hairline, then Dr. McGrath did my hairline. And now it's like, wow, I'm back,
Yeah.
So that procedure alone was like number whatever, 9 or 10 or whatever.
But if you'd kind of, again, say blow your load in the beginning and you'd gotten a bunch of plugs put right across the front, you would be out of luck, completely out of luck.
That is an excellent point. So credit to my doctor, who obviously is retired now, my first doctor out in New Jersey. And, I was kicking and screaming and yelling and throwing things, just kidding. He was an awesome doctor, and he wasn't like, we didn't have these guys that are like world renowned at the time. I mean, the doctors, general practitioners used to close down their facility and just do these things after hours. That's really how it started. And he always went for a higher hairline, and I call it your uncle's hairline. And I still use that today, because some of the guys that are now, I mean, they're into their 80s and they're still doing some surgery, and good for them. And some of these guys are kind of, they are world renowned and they've been around a while, but they'll still do the higher kind of uncle's hairline thing. So those were the old days. And, it took a lot of procedures to keep lowering it down. But David's right. Like, if you had enough donor left and you started out all those years ago, man, give it another shot, or maybe two, and just keep coming down and edging down and dense packing that hairline. And in my opinion, you guys have heard me say this a million times, the best return on your investment is the hairline. Now, I'm not saying you should just do the hairline and wear your hair bald everywhere else. That's a surface area. So there's two separate things, right? There's density and aesthetics, and then there's surface area. It takes a few procedures, if not a few more procedures, to really get to where you want to be. However, last thing I'll say is there's a difference between now not being bald and having the option to enhance your hairline versus being bald and needing some hair transplants. So I think we're both talking about, hey, David, you're not bald anymore. I'm not bald anymore. Let's go enhance our hairline.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.